Rampage has got to cover himself up right now. He's like, I gotta put a blanket on.
I gotta put a little blanket on me.
Dude. Waiting for a freaking.
They're live.
Oh, we are live. There was no countdown whatsoever. Are we live?
Yeah.
That's how we roll. We don't need a fucking countdown.
All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Drinks and Dogs. There was no countdown on this one, but this is a really special episode of Drinks and Dogs. Not only do I have my brother KD Matthews on here, but we have Rampage Jackson on here. So cheers, guys.
Boom. Another episode.
Oh, you got the Cobra Kai cup.
Hell yeah. It matches my underwear.
So funny story how this all comes together. You know, just so you guys know, you guys saw the Instagram post and the social media post is we're bringing in, you know, different commentators from different, you know, walks of life that deal with combat stuff or just dogs. So, you know, we have Katie. I asked Rampage, and Rampage was, even though I met you like one time, was great, graceful enough to be like, hey man, I got you, like no problem. And responded to me really quickly. So I appreciate you, Rampage, for doing that. I appreciate you, Katie, for doing that as well. And, you know, just embarking on this new endeavor that we're doing, you know, with Canine Street League. The funny thing, I guess I met you, Rampage, what, 4 or 5 years ago when you came down to San Jose with Kingsley?
Man, it was probably more than 5 years ago now.
Because then we went to we went to that one bar and we went to the Russell Peters show, right? So that was gotta be like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 6 years ago.
It's pretty funny because everyone, after I posted that picture like on my social media, everyone always asks like how was Rampage? How was you know, how was he? I was like, wow, what you see on television is pretty much like that's Rampage. He's just like a fun person to hang out with. I was like, it's just funny. Like, this is what he does. I always tell like the story of like when we were sitting at that bar at Keys, and like I think like at it was me, you, and Kingsley, and then the lady that you brought with you, and then we were just sitting there, and I was like, "Do you want another round?" He's like, "Man, if I get another round, he's like, we might not make it to tonight," type of a thing. When we got like the Coronas and like the tequila shots or something. And then I try to convince you to there you go. I tried to convince you to did we try to convince you to take a bite at the shop?
Take a what?
Take a bite at the shop.
I can't, man. That's 6 years. I don't remember none of that. I've been punched in the head so many times. I remember us going to see Russell Peters and stuff, and us drinking. But then I remember Kingsley got me super drunk that night or something. I was super drunk.
Oh yeah, we went out pretty hard that night.
I don't remember nothing else.
Because did you probably don't remember. Did you fly back in Russell's private? Because remember Russell was trying to get you to like go back with him or something like that to party with him more?
I didn't. No, I didn't, man. I'm scared of. I'd be scared of those little small planes. I think his private plane was probably too small for me. I'm a big guy. Fuck that.
That was probably a really smart decision. I'm saying like lots of alcohol, private jet. You know what part 3 is? Sex tape on the internet, and then you don't even know what happened. That's how that shit starts. I'm just saying. Not that I know from experience. It wasn't a private jet.
I just remember being in that back room. It was Kung Lee was in there. It was all of us in that back room at Russell Peters like dressing room or something. And then Russell's like, Rampage is like, man, you got to come with me. Like you get just, you know, we fly private. You can roll with me. And then Rampage is like, nah, I gotta I'm just like backing out of the room a little bit because he knew kind of what was going to happen next.
Yeah, fuck all that shit. They're playing probably too small for me. Yeah. Russell cool though. Hey, I love Russell, man. He cool as hell. Whenever he's in like Irvine or something, he's doing a show. He's always invite me and stuff like that. But I gotta get back up there to San Jose and see you guys, man.
Dude, hell yeah, man. We got plenty of space for you and everything like that. So whenever you want to come up, bro, you always gotta hang out. We can do whatever.
All right.
Dude, but we're working on the Canine Street League thing, and then the Canine Street League. Obviously, we're bringing in different commentators from different walks of life. You know, the Canine Street League itself is going to be, you know, the personal protection, in my opinion, is the personal protection certifier And it comes with, personal combative as well, which is going to be a scenario, which is something that we're going to tap into. But I mean, for the most part, that's why everyone's asked, like, the Rampage is going to be a commentator type of thing. I was like, well, he's someone who fights people for a living. And like, he's done this for a long period of time. So he's going to understand what that feels like. So another reason why we're bringing you into it. Plus, obviously, awesome dude and everything like that. KD, I know you had a poll about the mustaches today. Who won?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm more surprised not by the fact that I won, and so I put I don't know what picture of Rampage, what film this was from, but you're working a little pencil stash, and I saw that and I said, wait a minute, crop. Took one of my old weak stash pictures and I wanted to get a feel for the Instagram audience to let everybody know, you were going to be on tonight. So we did a poll, whose mustache would win in a fight. And I wasn't surprised that I won. I was surprised that you got any votes at all.
I hate that mustache. It's a movie I did with Rashad Evans, Joe Carnahan, the same director of A-Team, him and Frank Grillo, Mel Gibson. It was a lot of people in that movie. It actually airs today on Hulu. And he gave me the mustache. He gave me the little small mustache and he made me a German twin. So I was like some German dude. I was like, Joe, have you ever seen a black German dude? He gave me a little mustache.
At least he didn't give you the Hitler.
Yeah. I said that would have been even funnier if he gave me the Hitler.
That's a little too much irony for 2021.
We just started off with a bang. That's pretty much what's going on. So speaking of that, what do you got going on, Rampage? How's everything been going?
Everything going good. I started I started training with Antonio McKee. He's one of the best MMA trainers in the world, personally. And so I was staying in a hotel, like a stay hotel up here for like 2 months, and that bill got too expensive. So I decided to rent me an apartment down the street from the gym because his gym is like 45 minutes away from my house with no traffic. And you know how California traffic is. So I just decided like stay up here and train for a couple of months. I want to lose like 50 more pounds. And then once I lose, once I get back in shape, I want to start looking for my last couple of fights. I want to do maybe 3 or 4 more fights and hang it up.
Well, you're pretty young too, right? How old are you right now?
I'm 42, man. That's the age. That's the age where I should have been hanging it up a couple of years ago. But I'm scared I'm going to miss it. I'm scared I don't want to retire until I'm done. Until I'm sick and tired of this sport, because I see fighters retire, then they come back, and when they come back, they've been gone for too long, and I just know I'm going to miss it.
Shoot, being 42, man, you aged well, especially if you're getting punched in the face.
Yeah, man.
I'm 36 and you look younger than me.
I feel like I'm 60.
Yeah, I believe it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you referenced, you're concerned that you don't want to miss it, right? What is it about the process that gets you going? From is it the process of the training, or what's the climax of it for you that that you're thinking about right now? What life would be like without it? Is it the actual event? Is there some type of and the reason why I ask is I talk about this a lot in the context of dogs, right? So I tell people that for me, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling and grappling, that's my medicine. Yeah. Like when I don't have that, shit gets weird. Like day-to-day shit isn't right. So for me, that's like feels good. But that shit ain't my living. That's like a hobby. For you, it's a living. So what aspect of it like draws you in to the point where like you're like, man, what's life going to be like without it?
It's it's a drilling of not knowing if you're gonna win or get your ass kicked. It's that, and then it's the high of after you just knock somebody out or the referee just pulls you up off somebody and they raising your hand and the crowd's going wild. That's those two things is something that I miss. When I'm walking out to the cage and stuff, I've noticed sometimes like the last 5 years, I'm asking myself, why am I still doing this? Why am I still doing this? Then as soon as I get in the cage and I land that first punch, and I think, oh, this is why I'm doing it. I love fighting. I just love it. And I think I'm going to miss it when I retire. So when I retire, I think I might do like jiu-jitsu tournaments. I still might spar in the gym just to stay in shape because I let myself go the last couple of years, and now I'm kicking myself in the ass for that. And I think I'm just going to have to keep training it. But I'm going to miss competing. And now my son is my 20-year-old son. He's thinking about getting to. Well, I know he's training to get into the sport, so it'll keep me around for a long time.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
what was? And these are my questions, right? These aren't even cancer. So the people watching right now, like, hey, guess what? I'm hogging this because I got this man's attention. I have questions, right? How did you get started? Like with getting paid for this? What was the step from? I like knocking people out on a Friday night because I enjoy it. It's fun, and now I'm going to get paid. What did that look like for you?
Man, it was a mistake. After I wrestled in college, I went home, and one of my old friends I used to wrestle with in high school was training for an MMA fight. He asked me to help him train. The champion of my hometown, Memphis, his opponent pulled out, and they threw me in a fight 3 days notice, and I ended up beating the champion.
Damn.
I ended up beating him, and they were like, "Oh, you're a fighter now. You got to be a fighter." Can you please put it on vibrate? I'm sorry, guys. I got some unprofessional people over here. Lock my dog in the room. He's over here barking and got phones going off. I told him, like, look, I'm doing something live. Don't make me look bad. And that's all they're trying to do, make me look bad.
I'm still kind of butthurt. You didn't send Gizmo to me.
Yeah, I want you to train Gizmo, make him a killer. Gizmo, come. Gizmo, come. Look, this guy need to be potty trained, and he need to be a killer. Gizmo, who is this right here? Gizmo, come. He got a toy in his mouth. Gizmo, come. Come here, Gizmo. Come here. You want a treat? You want a treat? Come on. You want a treat? Still, I had a trick. Look. Look at Katie. You need to train him, man. Make him a killer.
All right.
Make him a killer.
One of the baddest men on the planet with a fluffy dog with a green mohawk.
Make him a killer. He needs to body train. I honestly, I don't want to say this. I don't want to talk bad about the people training him, but I sent him away to get training because it was close by the house. I paid $3,000, and the main focus was to potty train him because these breeds, I don't know, they don't like to be potty trained or something. And he was gone for a while and come back. The day he came back, he pissed in my house.
Yeah. I remember you asking me about that, like, hey, how far are you from here? Can I get him? I was like, I think you were filming a movie or something when you asked me. And then you were just like, I can't get him down to you or up to you type of a thing.
Yeah. That dog, I don't know. At first I thought he was deaf because he would never come when you call his name. And then when I found out he wasn't deaf, I just thought he was dumb. When I took him to get trained, the lady said, "Oh, he's actually pretty smart. He just don't give a fuck.
He's been doing this the whole fucking time.
The whole time. All he know how to do now is sit. That's all he know how to do."
I don't know. I saw one of your Instagram stories. He knows how to do something else.
Oh yeah, he loves his beds. I tell you that.
Yeah.
That's lust, my friend. That's not love.
Man, I don't know what it is. I got him a girlfriend. She's in heat. I put them in a room together, and I'm sitting there watching them trying. I don't know what to do. I didn't know you had to do anything else. I look at him. He's humping the damn bed right in front of his girlfriend. I don't know. She's
like,
heat.
see what I'm gonna do to you?
I figured like he didn't want to cheat on his bed. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, well, the offer still stands. So you can always send his ass up here.
Yeah, I'm about to do that.
So, KD, we have this constant conversation, and it's something that we talk about a lot. It's like for us, like for me, like I utilize a lot of ground game when I do like my bite work with my dogs, and I use a lot of pressure and like kind of jiu-jitsu type of stuff. And I put them into like defensive states. Like it's something like highs and lows, just having them like overcome things, like being the good sparring partner, like a sparring partner that's getting ready for your fight, right? They're gonna test you for certain things, but they're gonna kind of take it back a little bit, just trying to show you the picture of what they're gonna see. So Katie and I have talked about this a lot, and it's based on like, I guess like people's like genetic traits and just how like they act. Or Katie, you can probably explain this better than I can, like how they react to certain things. So, Katie, go ahead, take away.
It's something, and the thing is, that's why we're bringing it up to you, man, because like the parallels between how a dog is going to view people, the way they view other dogs, it's the same way that, this is my theory, that we do, right? And so the example I talk about, I tell people all the time, listen, your dog knows who you are. You can't lie to your dog. You can't fake shit. Your dog, I just did a meme the other day. Your dog knows exactly how many fucks you have to give, and you can't fake 0 fucks. And they get that about us. And, my belief, my position is, man, that's some primal shit. Like, they can smell it on you. They can see it on you. And then when Mike and I are talking, I'm like, listen, men do it, whether they realize it or not. You can look at a guy, and there's just something about a look on his face, a look in his eye, and you're like, if this happens, it's going to happen. And what Mike and I were talking before the show was like excited to have you here to say, like, from your experience, whether it was outside of the ring, training, or walking into the ring, can you relate to that at all? Like where you just look at someone and you're like, hey, I haven't even thrown a punch yet, and I got you, or it's like, oh, we're going to go at it.
Yeah, man, it's the energy. You can feel it. Like when you're in a gym and you training with other fighters, man, sometimes that's worse than the fight, because in a lot of MMA fighters, a lot of alphas together, and everybody want to be the top alpha in the gym. That's what guys try you the most, and you can smell it. Like I know I'm sparring with somebody, especially I hate sparring with people I don't know well. They always try to test you and everything. You know it, exactly what you said. It's primal. It is, even with humans. I can tell a lot of time, like, oh hell, I'm gonna have trouble with this guy. And sometimes be like a young guy, big young guy. I'm like, damn, man. It's like I'm about to fight in the gym. I ain't finna make no money, but I gotta kick this dude's ass or get my ass kicked. It's like that.
Well, especially you being you too. I mean, like I gotta think like people are gonna probably think like, oh, hey, I gotta make a name for myself.
Oh, man.
And freaking spar Rampage, like that's what they gotta think about.
Bro, it's wild. They will give their phone. I peep it a lot of times. They'll give their phone to their friend, or they'll set their phone up and a videotape set up in the corner in the gym before they go with me, and so they can have some footage. I remember when I first started noticing this, I was fighting in Japan. Not that many people knew who I was, but fighters knew who I was. I went back home to Memphis, and I trained with my first trainer, Jeff Mullen, and he had some guys at his gym, and most of them I didn't know because I've been gone for a couple of years. And there's one big dude wanted to spar. He asked to spar me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just there training with my coach. He had to pass stuff. He wanted to spar. I moved around with him. He tries to knock me out. So I gave him a big ass body shot, and I didn't try to, but I broke his ribs. But he was coming at me really hard. This is the first time I noticed what was going on. And I was like, I'm sorry, man, but he was trying to knock me out. He said, yeah, but you're a pro fighter. I thought you can take it. I'm like, yeah, but I can give it too. You bigger than me. I don't know you. Because martial arts is something different. Like just because somebody's not a professional fighter, it doesn't mean that they might not be good at a certain martial art. Like we wasn't doing MMA, we was doing kickboxing. So he could have been a good martial artist. He could have been a good kickboxer. He could have been a better kickboxer than me. That's how martial arts is, I don't know if he's a better kickboxer than I am because, I'm not a kickboxer. I'm a wrestler by trade. I just do mixed martial arts.
That's actually, I like that segue with it too, because I feel like that transcends a lot in KD. If you have any opinions on this, I feel like that segues a lot into dog sports because there's so many different variations of what dog sports are. There's your bite dog sports, there's your AKC obedience, which I feel like, and rally obedience, which I feel like is very underrated when it comes to some of the advanced stuff, the work that they put into it. And then the bite sports, there's so many different segments, and especially with Canine Street League, Katie, we talked to a guy named I don't know if you probably seen him on like Instagram, Rampage. It's a guy named Nino. It's STS Canine. He does a lot of like fancy like movements. Like he usually has ads on there. But I talked to Nino the other day, and Nino Dewar, and he was talking about doing like almost we ended up coming up with the name like freestyle battle, like a b-boy battle, when it comes to like his movements, and it's all like a bunch of fluid movements and lowering and stuff for just people, but like there's so many different like sections of what sports are, and even like coming into like combat sports, you know, like for me, I started, I mean, combat sports freaking, you know, at 16 when I was doing you know, boxing and everything like that, and like it's this, like you said, like, you know, you're a wrestler by trade and then you become mixed martial arts. Like there's so many. I remember the first day I walked into Fairtex in fucking Mountain View, and I was like, oh, Golden Ghost boxer, all right, cool. And then like I go in there with like someone who's like, they're one of the training partners, and I go into sparring night at Fairtex, and I got my fucking front leg blown the fuck up. That shit was gone. Like it was I was like, all right, cool. Like that sucks.
Yeah, that shit sucked.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how you transition. But the different things, like combat sports is not always combat sports. It's, you know, one thing in particular. It's a bunch of variations of different things. You know, you get the wrestlers, and then you get, I mean, well, you're an exclusion from that actual sentence I was gonna say. Like, you know, you get the wrestlers who just like you know, the Matt Hughes stuff, who punch, take down, lay and pray type of a thing, and then you get the wrestlers who, you know, like yourself, who
knock the fuck out of people.
Yeah. Or just slam them on their head. And
most of the times,
I think the Ricardo Arona, that's one of the more famous slams in mixed martial arts history.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but you know, that was like back in the day before martial arts, before MMA was mainstream in America. It was mainstream in Japan at that time, but it wasn't mainstream in America. So a lot of the new fans, they don't know nothing about that. Let's go for us old time MMA fans.
If you haven't seen that, guys, and you're watching this, make sure you Google that, because that is fairly amazing.
Come on, the old pride stuff, that shit was fire. It's like UFC is over here. It's like if you were watching Pride and then you watched UFC, you're kind of like, oh. Okay,
yeah, that's like the PG-13.
Stomping each other, crazy. The referees are coming out. They weigh like 98 pounds, soaking wet, and they're trying to move the heavyweights into the center of the ring. Like that shit was fire.
It was more of a show.
So a cool thing about Street League, and this is what I'm excited to have you involved with it, is like you mentioned this earlier, Rampage too. It's like, you know, you got like a bunch of alphas in the room and everything like that. And you know, it's energy, right? So like you're feeling. You feel that, right? And dogs, you know, communicate on what I call a paralanguage. You know, it's an energy based type of a thing. As your decoy, when you're staring down a dog, you can quickly reinforce defense, and then you can quickly switch back and prey, and then you can do that in a bite as well. But what I'm planning on doing with some of the higher levels in Street League is actually involving the handler, the person that's holding the dog or working with the dog, into some form of combative, you know, trait. So it's going to, you know, produce more energy. It's going to produce like, you know, where the decoy is attacking the handler and actually not like just fake tackling, like, oh, hey, but like, you know, going after the handler. So the handler's going to have to learn some form of combative, you know, response as well. And a lot of it being energy based. And like Hiddy and I have talked about this before, you know, it changes the way and the dynamic of the relationship when the dog and the handler are put through a specific amount of stress. You know, as far as like what you know, when you feel like when you're in, like you're stepping in the cage and you're fighting, like what's the energy like for you? Like what do you feel when you're about to do that?
Oh, when I'm about to fight, man, when I'm about to fight, you know, I'm a totally different person. And honestly, it depends on where I'm at in the world where I'm fighting. Like in Japan, my energy is different versus America and who I'm fighting as well. You know, this energy, whether you know it or not, is everywhere, and it's very important. But I remember like I just try to be focused, but I can't like put myself in that mind frame because that's when I turn to a rampage. But I just remember I just try to be focused and I try to be positive right before I fight because honestly, it's one of the hardest things in the world to do to walk to a fight when you know you're about to get in a fight. You know when you fighting on the street, you don't know you're about to get in a fight. Like something happened, a fight jump out, boom, you just go off you just go off your reactions. But have you ever been a kid and your mom told you, oh, your dad gonna whoop your ass when he get home, and you know you about to get an ass whooping? That anticipation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's really hard for me to like put it into words. So my energy is like all over the place. But I always try to be positive and I try to like I believe in positive energy. So I try my best to be positive, because sometimes your mind play tricks on you. You get bad thoughts. You get thoughts of this guy kicking your ass, and you're like, oh no, I gotta visualize me whooping his ass. So my energy be all over the place at certain times. It just depends on where I'm at. In America, I'm be honest. I love the Japanese fans way more than American fans. The Japanese fans, the energy in there is just solid. It's good. It's good energy, and I don't even have to worry about anything. I just go out there. All I focus on is put on a good show for them. All right. But when you fight in America, the energy is just off balance and stuff because in America, with my style, I like being entertaining. I wanted to be the most entertaining fighter. But in America, it's a lot of fair weather fans. This guy can really love you, be wearing your T-shirt, and if you get your ass kicked, you out there fighting a hard fight, and you get clipped, you get knocked out, or you get submitted. It hit you in your T-shirt and talking shit about you as you walking back to the back room. You know what I'm saying? American fans are like fair weather fans, like, oh, you lost, you suck. I'm like, well, you get here and do it then, bitch. That's just how it is. So the energy is different from what countries I fight in.
KD, and you can probably vouch for me on this. That sounds the same as American dog trainers.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. And to kind of co-sign, like everything Rampage just said, is definitely not a Rampage thing. A good friend of mine, Carl Malenko, he fought in Pride like way back, like Pride was like 6 and 7, and did pancrase over there. And we've had a lot of long conversations, and he has said the exact same shit and then some. I mean, he didn't fight a whole lot here. It was all over there. But he's like, the culture is completely different. The fans are completely different. He's like, they worship you. Like, they are your fan, whether it's a work, whether it's the real deal, it doesn't matter. Like, they are so into it. It's so loyal. He always talked about me. I wish I'd go back. I'm not going to take your ass back then. He's like, oh, I'm old.
Yeah. Your fan in Japan is your fan. Whether you win or lose. All thing they ask is if you lose, as long as you tried. You know what I'm saying? I remember my first fight in Japan, I lost, but they loved my fighting style. I even had this girl, like when I was walking out, everybody wanted to take my hand, but you know how the building, like the rows go up, so you can't shake everybody's hands. The rows got high. And this one girl, she wanted to shake my hand and she couldn't reach me. And the guy's like, this girl is going crazy. She really want to shake your hand. And I remember the guys put me on their shoulders and picked me up. And I try to shake her hand. And she reaches in for a hug. And she reaches in for a kiss. I don't know this chick. And so I turned my head. So she kissed me on the jaw. And she gave me an ear job. She started sucking on the top of my ear. I'm like, wow, this is my first fight in Japan. I wonder what the girls are sucking.
Like number 7 going to look like.
But I tell you what, man, I love the Japanese fans. And I've been looking for that one fan that gave me the ear job for like 20 years. Haven't seen this thing.
Craigslist, man. Just put an ad up on Craigslist. You'll find her.
Awesome. Well, so, getting into, what Street League is going to be and everything that we're working on. I mean, like, this is kind of the dynamic that I've been looking for is like, just when because Rampage, you probably don't know, because like, the dog sport world's, it's probably worse than the MMA world and everything like that. They're a bunch of assholes, even more so. So what we're trying to do with, the Canine Street League thing is to create this universal sport where it's a professional sport, because dog sports aren't professional. Like, no one gets paid for doing anything. You actually spend a ton of money to go out there. To go out there and compete, pay a trainer, mean, you're spending
Wait,
thousands and thousands of dollars just to step
wait,
on a field to get a plastic trophy or a ribbon.
well, excuse me, hold on, back up. The stuff I be seeing on TV where the dogs be doing a little obstacle courses, jumping through that, and they be running up on the thing and come down and run through the little tunnel. They don't; those people don't get paid. The dog, they don't get paid.
Nope.
What
They don't
the
get
fuck?
no money. And think about it this way: the decoys, like you see, like if you ever look at my my page or like any other protection sport pages, because there's a lot of different protection sports. Those decoys don't get paid either, and they're forced to wear small suits that you can feel everything in. And you said you got bit by a dog in the suit, right? When you went to like you visited like an army base or something.
No, I didn't do it. My friends did it when we went to go visit the SAS in India. Yeah, and then some of those dogs, they have metal teeth.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it. I was like, hell no, I ain't doing that shit.
Dude, so those guys don't get paid shit, like or anything. Like they don't get paid anything. So the purpose of Canine Street League was to make it the first professional sport in dog sports, and keep it continuous and have it something that where we have commentators like you guys, someone who understands dogs, someone who understands combatives, and make it fun and light and like what we can do, but also make sure that we're compensating these people who are sacrificing their bodies as decoys, and because as like getting hit in the head and smacked and bruised and all this stuff. Like I can barely feel it on my left arm anymore. I just got like I don't even know 14th concussion after getting hit by that goddamn car a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a bunch of different things like that we're not compensated for as being a decoy, and it's the same thing. And I feel like it translates to like being a fighter, because for the longest time fighters aren't getting compensated. Even now, you look at some of the fighters out there, they're not getting compensated well for getting hit in the head.
Yeah, I know it sucks. A lot of fighters don't get paid that much.
Yeah, and it sucks because you sacrifice as a fighter. You go through 8-10 week camp, you sacrifice time away from family, whatever you got to do. I mean, even you're moving from your house to go training somewhere for a couple months. That's a lot of different things. So like what handlers have to do is they have to spend thousands of dollars working with a training club, and they spend a couple $100 signing up to go to this freaking trial. They have to pay for their own hotel, all this other stuff, and then they get this little cheap ass trophy or like a certificate or a ribbon or something like that.
But why would they do that? Because are they doing that for their business because they're like established dog trainers or to promote their business?
Most of the time they're doing it out of the love. Like it's just what they do.
That's just because they want to do it.
Wow.
They want to do it that bad.
Yeah, and just because they want to do it. And dog training is a outdated thought process, because a lot of the traditional old school guys fall into that tradition aspect of it where it's like, oh hey, like this is how you do it. And like I was the same way when I teach. I'm the same way when I teach my apprentices, but they also have rewards on the aspect of, okay, like hey, you can be like how I like what we do now, and everything that we do now, like this is how it can be. Like I'm not like just beat you down until you like this is what life is. But when my idea with Street League was, Oscar Moore came up with the actual whole perspective of it, but was to actually compensate handlers and decoys and the teams and the clubs for their wins, to make it actually like where people can do what they love for a passion, like their passion. And like that's where Street League comes from, because we're it's all privately funded through like Primal Canine, and it's all like basically make sure that like handlers and everyone can actually make a living doing a sport that they love to do and actually be compensated properly. And I guess what accommodated, what's the word for like when someone wins something, like getting like a championship, like actually being like promoted, recognized. Yeah, recognized properly for all that stuff. And that's the whole point with Canine Street League is, one, obviously the dog's going to be a personal protection dog, or or the new thing with Nino with the freestyle battle, or with Mike Nesbitt, the the scent detection, and they can actually be recognized and compensated for their wins and the work that they've done, because a lot of these guys go years and if not decades with no compensation, and just get a room full of plastic trophies and spending thousands of dollars living in the shack type of a thing. So the street league is the first actual, I would say, professional sport, but I'm happy to launch it with you guys.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, you're gonna see when you're there, and you're gonna see people doing things with dogs that it's got. Did he just do that? I'm like, yeah, he just did that. Like, now that took him and that dog hundreds of hours to work that through, and then you're seeing dogs like full out in combat with humans, and it's like, is that really happening? It'll blow your mind.
You want to see this right now?
No, I mean like during the trial, like when we're there in person, right in front of us, seeing it, smelling it, hearing it.
I'm going to be there, Mike. I'm going to see it.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Well, you're gonna love this one. Rampage is we changed the first trial from Los Angeles to Memphis.
My hometown, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. When is this one?
We're in Colorado. April, May, June. We're shooting for mid-July.
All right, that's good. That's good because I might have to go to Colombia at the end of June, and I get back July 3rd, so that's perfect.
Perfect. You beating someone up over there?
No, I'm going to get stem cells, man.
Oh.
I'm really serious about getting back to like the best I can be in my older age. A lot of fighters are going overseas getting stem cells, and America just ain't with it.
I heard Joe Rogan talking about that a while ago, and I didn't know if that was just like a Joe Rogan aluminum foil type of thing, or if that's like legit. People are doing that and it's working.
Bro, it's legit and it works. Like a lot of people, not just athletes. The company that's doing mine, they said, "Oh, we don't make money off you athletes. When you guys use it and you go back and do your sport, and the fans and people know that your fans know you. They know you're injured and how you work. They say they see it work on you. They come in and get it. Like older people and a lot of people know about it. People do their research, they know about it, and it works. But for some reason, I don't understand why our country is like that. But they just don't. They don't want to allow it. So we had to go out of the country. For them, I have no idea. I'm not into politics. I'm not into like all the. I don't trust the government. All this. I'm not into that stuff. I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? There's never been my focus. My whole life, my focus has been like on entertaining people, fighting and stuff like that. So I don't understand why we can't do it in America though. But it's real. It works, man.
We're about to go to Colombia, Kitty.
I'm already booking flights in my head. I got the Google chip going. My phone is picking up this whole conversation anyway because it listens to everything. And I'm sure when I turn it on, there will be plane ticket, hotel advertisements, and G-strings on there because we said the word Colombia.
Yeah, Mike, I text you the people that's doing mine. I'm going because Frank Mir and some other fighters referred me to them. Like they supposed to be like one of the best, and they take the best care of it. Like, and it's like they say it's like what they say. It looks like you in like a real. It's not like an office or nothing like that. It's like straight up legit, like you like in a surgical room, and it's like real sterile and stuff.
Yeah, I have a funny story about Frank Mir. This is 13 years ago. He came down, or I was up in not Las Vegas. I was in Los Angeles. I can't remember the actual gym, but I went down with like Gagnon, like from Fairtex. Yeah. And I went over there, and like I had no clue how big Frank Mir actually was.
Yeah.
Like I'm 6 foot tall, like roughly at that point 220, and like rolling with him, like I was just like, you probably don't remember me whatsoever, but like rolling with him, I was like, dude, was like, you're like, that's scary to have like that much much big. Like control.
Yeah, he's big and he's really good at jiu-jitsu. That is scary.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like
he's a big dude.
That's like I think Leopoldo Sorrell, who I was training with at the time, was just like, yeah, start on your back. I'm like, fuck you.
Like, yeah, he's a big guy. I think he's bigger than me.
Dude, he's a big dude. Like, what do you think about the Antonio Tarver fight?
You know what, man? I think MMA, like we used to 5-minute rounds. I think that's probably would be the only advantage that Frank Mir will have in that fight, because he used to go in 5 minutes, and so he can go balls to the wall for 3 minutes in his head. Like, yeah, 3 minutes ain't shit. How many rounds are they doing? You know?
Yeah, the Triller, I think they're doing 8.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He ain't gonna want to go balls to the wall for 8 rounds, but Tarver, I don't know. I wouldn't fight him. Excuse me, guys. I've been training my ass off. I wouldn't fight Tarver in my first boxing match. But I don't know Mir's boxing. I don't want to talk bad about Mir, because Mir is known to be a jiu-jitsu guy, but I don't know his boxing skills. But Tarver used to be a champion at boxing, and those boxers, they've been doing that shit since they were kids.
Yep.
It's like same thing you asked me if it would say like Tarver is doing a jiu-jitsu match against Frank Mir. Like, how do you see that going? It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to give
something to be said about repetitions. And, we talk about this with dog training in particular, like with decoys, like the guys getting bit. And when you're watching a really good decoy working a dog, man, yes, they have to have some halfway decent reflexes. There's like a bare minimum competency you have to be able to do. But that guy who's been working dogs for a while, all the time, sometimes it can almost be like a false sense of, oh, he's just really quick. Not necessarily. You got to understand, he's had a dog come at him hundreds, thousands maybe of repetitions, to the point where he can start to anticipate things. So when we talk about someone like Antonio Tarver in boxing, never mind physical attributes, he's seen punches coming at him from every angle, from different height, different sides. It's mathematics. It's mathematics. He's seen it happen that many times, and that's a huge advantage when you're talking about a fight like that. Is, well, how many times and how many variations of punches has someone else seen? Because it matters.
Right. So you're right. I agree with you 100 times. But I'm gonna be rooting for my boy Frank Mir. I love that guy. Me and Frank, we get along great. He's a great guy, and he's an MMA fighter. You got to stick with the MMA fighter. So I'm rooting for Frank, and I think he got a punch of chance. Hopefully Tarver is slow, or is a reason why he retired, and Frank lands like a good punch and knocks him out.
I'm calling a slip overhand right.
Yeah,
I'm calling a slip overhand right. I'm going to go into 2 different things here. KD mentioned something pretty well. Seeing pictures. This is how dogs see things, right? They see things in pictures. Same thing with fighters, right? Because we always work like mitts, or like, just seeing the certain things, or in sparring, we're working for, the opponent that we're facing. Mm-hmm. So the same thing applies when it comes to a dog facing a decoy. They have to see the pictures, right? They have to see exactly what they're getting. It's not just go out and bite whatever you get. It's go out there and bite what technically you can actually get, and also be able to, crush and counter and do those things. So they have to see the pictures. So you have to be a good sparring partner in that sense. And I think that's something that's I implement a lot from, my combat sports background into my decoying. And I'm always the good sparring partner, putting them on the same thing. Like, I always tell people, like, when it comes to like, all right, we're hitting the back. All right, cool. Like, that means that, we're using a tug, we're hitting mitts, we're using a sleeve, we're, sparring, we're using the suit, we're doing things like that. Like, those are just like that's how like me mentally, how I actually like process a lot of the stuff that like I do with like my clients. And, it works out really well. And then I tell them, like, okay, we're fighting today, or we're going to test today. We push past that. Like, these are the days that we're going to go hard. We push past that, but we also always go back to the basics. So I kind of I've based my things off of coaching from, jiu-jitsu to boxing to kickboxing and all the things I've had. I always base it off of that. And I feel like that's helped a lot of the dogs that I have and that I've trained be better protection or sport dogs based off of that, utilizing the combat sports thing.
Yeah.
Rampage, have you ever coached anybody, even informally, in your gym and your teams?
Well, I did the Ultimate Fighter. I coached that two seasons, and that's when I decided that I never want to be a fucking coach. I'm a fucking terrible coach. But at the gym, I show some guys a few things that what I think is that help him out. And my son, I show him some stuff that I know will help him out. Because my son is strong like me, just gifted with God-given strength. Thank God, because that got me out of a lot of troubles. And I always sucked at jiu-jitsu, but I was good at like defending it and getting out of certain moves. So I'm coaching my sons on all my jiu-jitsu defenses that work for me. And then people in the gym see me teaching my son and stuff. So a couple of those guys are like interested in learning because my defense to jiu-jitsu is not traditional jiu-jitsu. It's like stuff I just made up. And so other guys in the gym like looking at it, wow, that looks dope, and they trying it out. But it works for my son. It worked for me. But I'm not a coach. I won't coach it. I won't coach anybody. Even when I retire, I'll be there with my son. I'll tell him like a few things here and there, but I will never coach anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the patience. I don't see how you guys are train dogs and stuff like that. I don't have the patience. I do not have patience at all.
Never mind training the dogs,
training the dogs. Because I drink.
I don't do it. I can't do it. I don't have patience. I try to teach. I wanted to teach Gizmo how to walk on his back legs, and the dog trainer said like, "Oh, you got to strengthen up his legs first. You got to give him a treat and give him to stand on his legs and walk and walk. You got to keep doing it." I gave up after 2 days. I was like, fuck that. My other dog, my oldest dog, Adronicus, he's really old. He's a rare breed. Adronicus massive. And he's a smart dog. I taught him that the trick where you shoot him and he lay down. He's so smart. Took me 1 day to teach him that. And he's almost 15 years old and he still knows it. But I better make sure I have a treat in my hand now because that's how many times he's done it. I gotta give him something to do it now. But before I taught him, he'll just do it. But sometimes he didn't want to do it when company's around. The dog's just too smart. He knows I'm making fun of him or something. But he learned it in 1 day, and that's the only trick I ever taught any of my dogs because he learned it in 1 day. I tell you, if he wasn't learning, I probably would have gave up. But I don't have the patience.
Well, we're now. At least now you're in the street league team, so we're gonna be helping you out a lot with that. with that. All right. I'm looking forward.
I'm
gonna have to send someone down to pick up Gizmo.
Yeah. I'm at the. How long you got to keep him for though? Because I'm really attached to this asshole.
3 weeks.
Oh, okay. I can do 3 weeks. I can do 3 weeks without Gizmo.
Michael sends you pictures. He'll send you little videos.
Yeah,
I won't. My fiance Erin will.
Okay, that'd be good. That'd be good. I could probably get my friend Lloyd to drive him up there. He likes going to San Jose.
Yeah, tell him bring him up. We're in Gilroy. We're about 45 minutes before then.
Oh, 45 minutes south.
Yeah, so we're right before San Jose.
Oh, that's a long drive from here. Huh? Like 6 hours.
It's only what you're San Diego, Irvine.
I'm in Orange County.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Yeah.
We did the first street league trial over there. So we do have the Canine Street League second and last decoy certification trial in Colorado Springs, which is, if you guys don't know, this is where the Olympic Training Center is for America because of elevation. So I've had my experience there a few times working dogs where I thought I was in decent shape, running 6 miles a day, flipping this giant tire. I was like, all right, I got this. We're good. Like we're, lifting things, doing my normal decoy workout stuff. And I went out there and I feel there's a video that's on Ray Allen about the new semi-comp suit that we helped design. And thankfully they didn't show the parts where I was dying and almost willing to throw up because of the elevation sickness that I got. So for someone who's getting ready to go to this trial Rampage, what would you suggest with elevation and a dog holding on to you and you hit them wearing 20-pound plus suit? What would you suggest their physical regimen be?
If you're going to be doing anything physical in elevation, you have to train in elevation. or unless you have like the other technology, what they got, those hyperbaric chambers. But you have to train in elevation. Every time I had a fight in elevation, I had to train the same elevation or a little higher. See, but lucky for me, I'm blood type B, and I know that my blood type, we do well at elevation, but it's some people that just don't do well in elevation. What's your blood type, if you know?
Is that something, I've always wondered if I was fucking up by not knowing my blood type, and now you just made me feel even like stupider. Like he's like, oh, I'm blood type, da 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 da. I'm like, I'm 43 years old. I don't know what blood type I am.
It's very important to know your blood type. But see,
I'm learning. Okay, now I
gotta go research it. Like they said to that when I had cancer. Like I'm now like I was like Jesus Christ. Like I was like no.
No, don't go all into the. This could drive you crazy. But I learned about blood type by fighting in Japan. You know how we do horoscope here. People in Japan, they're fucking aliens. They go by blood types. Like if a girl like you, I've had girls like walk up to me in a nightclub or a bar and talk to me and ask me, "What's your blood type?" That's the first thing.
Can you imagine trying that?
Everybody over there know their blood type and stuff. So my ex-wife actually was a person. She told me my blood type, and every time we fight, I get a blood test. So I went and got a blood test, and I asked her my blood type, and she was right. And then that's when I started learning about it. So I learned a lot about my blood type. I learned that I could be a descendant of Genghis Khan, and I learned that I do well at high altitude. Like a lot of people don't. I didn't know that at first, but Boss Rudin, he told me that he can't train at high altitude. He gets sick, just like you said. You have a problem. You get sick. And some people, some blood types just don't do as well up there. So what you have to do is you'll just have to elevate. You have to go up a little bit high, a little bit higher, then a little bit higher, and then once you get used to it, train at the same altitude as whatever Denver is, and that's high. That's a mile high. That's like what 12,000 feet, if I'm not mistaken. It's over 8,000.
They're the highest peak in the United States. I think that's why they have the Olympic training center there.
That's the highest place. Yeah, I trained there for my fight when I fought John Jones, and I was there for like 2 months. And I tell you what, even though I do well with high altitude, it took me like 2 weeks to get used to the altitude. I tell you, it took me 2 weeks. No, I'm not. And Big Bear here, I go, I'm good. After a week, I still gotta get in shape, but after a week, I'm fine. When you walk upstairs and stuff, and altitude, you still out of breath. You just walking upstairs in the house and you breathing hard.
The shit that pissed me off about being in Colorado Springs was that I went to work dogs, and I worked dogs, and I thank God for my buddy Jamoke Johnson. He gave me some water over there because like you dehydrate real quick over there. Like I was working some dogs, and he's like, think about it this way. At least when you go to drink at the bar at the hotel. This was before COVID and all that stuff. He's like, you're gonna get drunk quicker. So I'm like, awesome, cheaper date. I don't have to buy like 5 shots. I can buy like 1 or 2.
You get drunk quicker too?
And then apparently you get drunk quicker. So then we go to the bar and I'm like drinking. I'm like, I look at my fiance Erin. I'm like, I got the shit end of the stick on this motherfucker because I'm not getting drunk whatsoever. And I was like, I just got gassed the fuck out working this dog in freaking Colorado Springs and up this hill. I was like, well, I guess the genetics are telling me different here.
Well, find out your blood type. That might have something to do with it, but it could just be you too. But sounds like you got to train at high altitude and take it up a notch. You can't just go straight to,
straight to it.
Yeah, you can't go straight to it. You got to take it up a notch and get used to it.
That's the typical primal canine fashion here.
Yeah.
KD.
I'm just sitting here not saying a word on that because I live in low Florida and I get out of breath walking on level ground below sea level. So you guys can have your, I was at a mile high, I was out of breath. And I'm just like, let them talk about that. Yeah. Don't ask me any questions.
Well, shoot, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon. Basically, everyone who's watching this right now, I think we have close to 1,100 people right now. Rampage Jackson's going to be one of the the commentators. Katie Matthews, as always, is going to be one of the commentators. Katie has convinced me to be one of the commentators consistently, as I should be. Although I'm trying to like pull myself out of this. But yeah, man, hey, Rampage, I know you're a busy man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you respond to my text messages and DMs and always are always receptive to everything.
No, man, I remember you're a cool dude, man. Since I met you, man, I don't forget stuff like that. Even though I got a bad memory, I don't forget when people are cool.
No, I appreciate it, brother. It's I know me talking to KD before. I was like, I think I can get Rampage on this, and like he's like, yeah. I was like, this is when like COVID was at its height, and like I was like, if I can get him in LA, he's like, I will fly down to LA right right now if we can get Rampage Jackson in there.
Yeah, but, we make a good team, man. I'm happy to be on board, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Like for me to get on the plane and get out there, it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, cheers, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for taking your time out of your Friday night. It's 8 o'clock here. I'm sure it's fucking 11 o'clock over at KD's. And then Rampage is on that same side. So I appreciate you guys. Everybody who's watching this, get prepared. Canine Street League's a real thing. I got some awesome commentators on this whole thing, and we're going to be working a lot of different angles and a lot of different fun stuff. I mean, we have not only our obedience routine, but our personal protections and combative routines. And then Nesbet's going to be handling a lot of the scent detection. And then we have a new thing coming on with Nino DeWart. So a lot of fun stuff. And then we have Rampage fucking Jackson being one of our main commentators. So
I don't got to wear a suit though, right?
You can be wearing exactly what you're wearing now.
Oh, okay.
You don't got to wear anything, actually. I mean, I'm pretty sure that'll draw. We get.
Listen, I got a private jet. Just have a couple sips of that, and don't worry about a thing.
Y'all crazy.
Bro, this was dialed down.
Yeah.
You know how it goes, Rampage.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Dogs. I'm gonna see you guys on the opposite side of this screen in the green room. And everybody else, make sure you guys tune into PCU Online. Make sure you check them out on Instagram, Facebook, all the other stuff. Lots of cool things going on. Canine Street League coming up. We're gonna be in Colorado in April, Memphis sometime soon after that for the first trial. These two gentlemen here will be at that trial. We'll make it happen. And yeah, lots of fun stuff. But thanks, guys. Thank you.
See ya.
Peace.